So Radio Winchcombe, of course, it wouldn't be a Bad Girls special without the straight-talking, no-nonsense Helen Stewart. So let's say hello to Simone Lahbib. Hello.
Hello, hiya Lewis, how are you?
I am so good, and honestly, I've got to say a massive thank you because one, for joining me on the show, and two, for all of your help in making a lot of this possible. So thank you.
Ah, my pleasure, my pleasure. Yeah, I've got a good little contacts book.
I mean, Helen Stewart, she was such a nice lady. She had the inmates' best interests at heart, and she wanted to make the prison service a better place.
Yeah.
But she also didn't take any crap at all. I mean, she stood up to Jim Fenner. She could see right through him, and she just didn't take no nonsense. So how much fun was it to play that role?
Oh, it was a lot of fun to play that role, not least because, I had 3 years to play that role. So, she went through lots of adventures during the 3 years that we did the filming. So it means that you get to explore the character in lots of different places and lots of different problems to solve. And she was all of those things. But what was interesting about her was that she kind of faced her fears. She had those fears, and she kind of managed to overcome them. So she was quite brave and heroic from my point of view. From that, all of that, and she had her flaws. She made some bad choices along the way, and but she wore her heart on her sleeve, and ultimately, I think, quite a likable character.
And I mean,
I think the fact that she cared so much about the inmates was apparent, and that was very endearing about her. She wasn't a job's worth. She wasn't in and out and just taking the pay. She really took on that responsibility, and wanted to do the best for all the women that were in there.
And I mean, you were on the show during the most popular series, series 1, 2, and 3. So why do you think Bad Girls has become such a phenomenon? Because to this day, I mean, for yourself from the conventions and stuff, it's hugely popular and it's so much love still for the show. So what's the reason for the success? What would you say it is?
I think it's a great idea from the beginning. The setting of it and the characters that you could bring into were all very colourful characters, and you could bring them in with all different backgrounds and different walks of life. And drama comes out of having conflict and problems to solve, and so there was so much in the show that we could explore with that. And I think there was lots of great relationships, and the writers always had a great sense of humour that they brought in, and the real true heartwarming drama and situations, and it kind of covered everything really. Yeah, and not least, the storyline between Helen and Nikki, which is, it's close to a lot of people's hearts. The storyline, which was, I've spoken about many times before, that it took a long time to get there, and they had a lot of problems to get through, and it was a long-running love story, and it had a happy ending. So it was kind of perfect, really.
I mean, this will make you laugh now, but I was 6 years old when Bad Girls first came out.
Oh,
and I mean,
my.
So it's a credit to the show that, I mean, I watched the box sets, and I don't know if you get this a lot, but when you think of Bad Girls, it's not, you wouldn't necessarily think it would move people, but when I watch the scenes between Helen and Nikki, for some reason, I get really moved watching it, and I think it's, one, because you're both talented actresses, but it was just the chemistry between you both. It really gets people in the heart, and the storyline was so gripping with the will they won't they. There was a few kind of split ups and escapes from prison, and the show was huge. How did you feel being part of that? Because it was talked about worldwide, it was in all the papers. So going back to the story, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, Mandana, like me, when we're working, we just all the bigger picture thing doesn't really come into it. That was stuff that we weren't aware of. I mean, most of that came afterwards, of course, but we have a close, both she and I can work quite, we're not afraid to open ourselves up and be completely vulnerable, and and we were that with each other, and I think that rawness and emotion came through, and we just worked really well together. In fact, funnily enough, since last Bad Girls Convention, Mandana and I have reconnected and spent much more time with each other, and she's been coming and teaching at my performing arts school, London Arts Academy. And recently, she asked if I would help her out with a self-tape for, she was going up for a job. And we had a chance to act again together. And it was just, both, we did one take, and at the end of it, we were both like, oh my God, it's just so easy between us. We there's that trust, and there's a connection and a chemistry, and we both there to support each other when we're working. It's like, I've got your back, and yeah, it's still there all these years later, and even more so in a way, because it's one of the things that we spoke about last time when we all got together for the Bad Girls reunion, and there was a moment where we were all sat round having lunch in the middle of it, and we just couldn't stop talking the ears off each other. We were just so happy to see one another again, and what was obvious was that we'd all been through a lot of life and come back and had that to share. And actually, our connections were even deeper. We had even more to speak about now, and still got on very well. And it was lovely. It was really lovely. We really enjoyed the last event, and hence doing another one, really. We're all looking forward to seeing each other again, and bringing in Sharon and Jack this time.
And that's on the 20th of October, and we're actually talking to Jack. He is so excited, he is unbelievably excited about this convention.
I love that about Jack. It's one of the things that comes through in his character, Fenner. You can see the child in Jack. He very much, said of actors, it's very important to keep the child still alive, so you don't become just adult, and Jack absolutely has that. The child is there with Jack, and he's great fun. He's just lovely. It was, when I called him the other day to ask him to be part of this next one, it was just so great to speak to him. I hadn't spoken to him for ages. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to spending time with him and, catching up with the years, basically, over our lunchtime, because that's probably the only break that we'll get, because it's quite full on the schedule.
And
it'll be great fun.
People can expect to see you, and of course Nikki Wade. We got Denny Blood, we got Crystal Gordon, the two Julies, and Jim.
Yes, so we've got a great lineup.
So what can we expect? What kind of things, because I've never been to one, so people that listen who want to attend, what kind of things can we expect? Of course, from getting selfies with the Bad Girls cast, which I'm excited about.
We will all be on stage. We end up invariably doing a bit of dancing and a bit of mucking around and having a laugh, and there'll be a Q&A and just chatting. We've also got, we put together a film of the last convention, so we've got that to watch. There'll be photos, there'll be signings, there will be meet and greets and spending time with the fans. I mean, that's what happened the last time. We were able to spend, a good amount of time really chatting to everyone. And, we were really overwhelmed by the stories that people brought when they came. Everyone had a story of why the show was important to them and the effect it had on their life, and, we were like, wow, and we all said it at the end. We all said, I get it now. We were all so caught up in, working hard and doing the show, and we got afterwards, it was popular, and we were like, oh, thank goodness, that's great. But now, speaking to everyone, we were like, that's why this show is so popular, and for different reasons to different people, gay, straight, everybody had, that we spoke to that had a connection with it and had a story to tell, why it was very important. So we were quite overwhelmed by that.
And I mean, there's a special reason for this convention and everything that you do. So tell us about the charity that you raise money for.
Yes, well, we have been raising money for the Ailey Brown Memorial Fund, and for anyone that doesn't know, this is a charity that I helped set up when my niece Ailey Brown died, and she died of cancer. And I mean, the story goes basically while Ailey was going through treatment, and we were hopeful that she was going to survive, I started doing some fundraising with the Bad Girl fans, because I recognised that she was spending a lot of time off school, and that both Gordon and Nicole's my sister, Ailey's mum and dad, were having to take a lot of time off work. They were, so I recognised that there was a need for money, and I think it came from one of the fans at one point saying to me, I'm doing some fundraising. Is there a charity that's close to your heart? I would like to, raise some money for you. And that, along with, I was speaking to a friend of mine, Kenny Monroe, who has his own charity, which he set up for his son, who has Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And he had said to me, well, why don't you set up a charity, Simone? So Ailey didn't survive, unfortunately, anyway. So she didn't survive, and so there was a pot of money that was there. So we offered to give the money back to everyone that had donated, with a little statement saying, or we could do something with this money. We could, throw in your ideas, and everyone basically came back and said, no, we're happy for you to keep the money if there's something that you want to do with it. So Nicole and Gordon sat and thought, and one of the things that they did before Ailey died was they went to this place called Callum's Cabin on the Isle of Bute, I believe, and they had a holiday in a holiday home that was built when Callum, the hero of that story, had died himself, and so this holiday home idea was fresh in their minds because they had a wonderful, amazing last holiday together, stress-free, away from, the hospital, away from everything.
Well, honestly, the fact that you're raising money and doing this with the Bad Girls fans and Bad Girls cast is amazing, because I know you've raised a lot of money, and you must be overwhelmed with the support that you've received.
It's amazing. It's all these years later, and it's still... when you talk about it and you actually connect with it, not think about it just as a story, how it just all comes back. Anyway, okay, yes, we managed to raise from the last convention over £21,000,
wow,
which was absolutely amazing, and everyone worked for nothing, happily so, and the organisers, the girls that work with me, Mandy Sellers and Rachel Kennedy, did so much work, all the volunteers that were there on the day, and everything was just really well organised, and with the fans in mind, it wasn't from, a point of view of making money out of, it was really to give the fans a great experience, and everyone had a great experience, and managed to raise all that money, so it was amazing. So this time round, just to be clear, I wanted to do a convention that would, yes, raise some money for the charity. We're going to do a charity auction, but also I wanted all the volunteers to be paid this time, so that they got something back for all of that work. So yes, it's a combination.
I mean, I'm so excited about going. And I mean, first of all, what an incredible lady you are to raise money, something that's so close to your heart, and you've also given something back to the fans, because for years, and I know from just looking at Twitter, people have wanted a convention. They've wanted to meet people that they love on the show. So to make it happen, and I've seen the photos and the comments, and it really has changed people's lives. And I've noticed now that people that didn't necessarily know each other have made friends since the convention. And that's got to be the best thing. Yeah,
they did, yes. Well, I when I've got time, I like to connect on Twitter, and I have had many conversations, and it was apparent that there was a desire for a convention, that people wanted to meet the cast, and I felt that I was kind of in the position to pull all these things together, basically. But this happened because of everybody. I really. It's my little address book, like I said, my contacts book, that has been a great help in putting this, but it's everybody else's hard work and the fans' enthusiasm, and, it's everybody. Everybody's been part of making this a great thing. So the other amazing bit of serendipity, hold on, my dog is barking. Let me just... is that a couple of days ago I got this text from my brother-in-law, Gordon, who's Ailey's dad, of the charity, Ailey Brown Memorial Fund. And the text said, "Do you know Sharon Duncan Brewster?" So, of course, the text back said, "Of course I do. You're not about to work with her, are you?" And he said, "Yeah, I just realised that I was reading the cast list because they're about to do this 3-part BBC drama called Long Song in the Dominican Republic. And they're going to be working together. So, so they're both really excited because Sharon has been a long supporter of the charity and always given me things to auction, etc. And has been amazing with all of that, hence, really wanting to bring her in quickly to do the convention from the list. It's just amazing. I can't wait to see them both because they're both absolutely fantastic actors.
That sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a chance where people can actually win a phone call from you. They can win lots of goodies on the crowdfunding page, the Bad Girls Reunion too. And some of the prizes, we've got tweets, signed photos, video response for some questions. You've got phone calls, live video calls, and more.
Yeah. So that's something that we did last year as well. It helped raise money to put the deposit for the hotel and actually get the whole thing up and running. And yes, I kind of agreed to these phone calls, and I have to admit that before them I was a little bit like, oh my God, what am I going to say? I'm just about to phone somebody that I don't know. And, the phone calls were great. I really enjoyed all the phone calls, and I really enjoyed speaking to people that I hadn't met. Some I had met, actually, or had spoken to on Twitter. Again, just that lovely connection. Now, everybody coming and just opening their hearts and, makes all the difference. You can get a proper connection and, the chat's easy then. And so I'm looking forward to all of those. And Mandana and I are looking forward to doing our stuff together. Yeah.
Well, so obviously we've got the convention and everything else that you're doing. Are you working on any other projects that you can tell us about?
Well, I'm always busy. In terms of acting, I'm hoping to hear about something soon, so fingers crossed, everybody, for me. I did a film last year called Burning Men, which I went to a screening of a couple of Sundays ago, and was really very pleased to see a lovely, really good film. It's really cool, actually, film. Great music, very cool young cast. And I was able to help with the casting on that. It started with the director coming to me and saying, I recognise that you've got the school and you've got kids. We need 5 boys to do this scene on an estate in Hull. So I said, absolutely. So he came in and he workshopped and we cast 5 of the boys from my kids. And then I helped, I was able to suggest other actors, and then I became more and more involved in the casting, and then was able to help, with a couple of locations. And so I had a vested interest in the film being good, and it is, so hoping that it'll find distribution soon. It's just been to Cannes and was well received there. So more news on that to follow. Yeah.
Wow.
And the school, I'm always busy with the school. The school has an agency, so a few of the kids doing musical theatre, film, TV. That's London Arts Management. The school's London Arts Academy, as I said. I have help with the production company that my husband set up, Contraventive Films. So we've been working on a web series called Tremacordis, which is from a script that my husband wrote years ago for a film and has decided to turn it into a web series, and he's done the first episode of that. And then the charity work and my daughter and, so busy. Yeah, and voiceovers, there's always busy, always busy.
Well, honestly, for me, being a fan, it's been amazing talking to you because I love everything that you're doing in regards to keeping the show alive almost and bringing everything together. And I love the interaction you have with your fans. You're such a genuine person and a brilliant actress. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Lewis. Thank you. Thank you very much. And lovely speaking to you.
Thank you.